The 6-digit code your bank texts you to confirm a login or a payment feels like the thing keeping your money safe, the final lock on the door, even if someone steals your password. But there is a common iPhone habit that quietly turns that lock against you, and it has nothing to do with a virus, a hack of your phone, or some flaw in iOS itself. The mistake is relying on those text message codes at all, because the way they are delivered over the phone network is the single weakest link in your entire account security, and criminals have built reliable methods to intercept them. I want to be precise and honest with you from the very first second, because this topic is surrounded by a lot of fear and misinformation, and you deserve the accurate version. Your iPhone is not infected with anything. There's no secret hidden iOS settings silently leaking your codes to anyone. The problem is more fundamental and, in a way, more important, because it affects everyone, regardless of which phone they own. It is the reliance on SMS, on text messages, to receive the one-time passcodes that protect your bank, your email, and your most important accounts. And the fix is genuinely simple, completely free, and entirely in your control. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly how criminals steal these codes, why text message delivery is the vulnerable part, and the specific change you should make today to take your most sensitive accounts out of the line of fire. The mistake is genuinely common, but correcting it takes only a few short minutes of your time, and once you do, an entire category of dangerous attacks simply stops working against you completely. Let me start by explaining what these codes are and why they exist, because understanding their purpose shows you exactly where the weakness lies. A one-time passcode, often called an OTP, is the heart of two-factor authentication, sometimes called two-step verification or multi-factor authentication. The idea is genuinely excellent. Even if a criminal steals your password, they still cannot get into your account without a second factor, a temporary code that only you should be able to receive. This second protective layer is honestly one of the single most effective security measures ever created for ordinary people, and you should absolutely be using some form of two-factor authentication on every important account you own. So I want to be clear, the problem is not two-factor authentication itself, which is essential. The problem is specifically the method of delivery when that code is sent to you as a text message. Here's the crucial insight. When your bank sends that code by SMS, it travels across the phone network, the same network that routes all your calls and texts. And that network, along with the link between your phone number and your actual device, has weaknesses that criminals have learned to exploit. The entire security model of a text message code rests on one assumption, that only your phone, in your hand, will receive that text. The attacks I'm about to describe all work by breaking that single assumption, by arranging for your codes to arrive somewhere other than your phone or to be read in transit. Once that single assumption breaks, the second factor that was supposed to protect you is handed straight to the attacker instead. And with your password having already been stolen, your account is left wide open to them. So how do criminals actually intercept these text message codes? There are several established methods, and understanding them shows you why the delivery method, not your iPhone, is the real problem. The first and most common is called a SIM swap. In this attack, the criminal does not touch your phone at all. Instead, they contact your mobile carrier, pretending to be you, and use personal information they have gathered about you, often bought cheaply from data brokers or scraped from breaches, to convince a support agent that they are you and that they need your number moved to a new SIM card. They might claim, for example, that they lost their old phone, or that they just got a brand new one and need the number moved over. If the carrier is fooled, your phone number is transferred to a SIM card the criminal controls. From that moment, every call and every text meant for you, including every bank verification code, goes to them instead. Your own phone often goes completely silent, suddenly losing all service, which is frequently the very first sign a victim actually notices, and by then it is usually far too late. The second method is an attack on the phone network's underlying signaling system, known as SS7. This is the decades-old protocol carriers use to route calls and texts between networks, and it has long known vulnerabilities. Attackers with access to the SS7 network can intercept text messages, including one-time codes at the network level, without ever needing your physical device or even a SIM swap. The third method is simpler and relies on you through phishing, where a fake site or message tricks you into typing the code yourself. In every single one of these cases, notice the one common thread running through them. The code was sent over the network as a text, and that is where it was captured. Your iPhone did nothing wrong. Now here is the single most empowering fact in this entire topic, the one that turns a frightening problem into a simple fix. Because all of these attacks target codes delivered over the phone network, the solution is to stop receiving your important codes over the phone network. And there is a better, more secure method available to you right now on your iPhone for free. It is called an authenticator app. Instead of your bank texting you a code over the vulnerable network, an authenticator app generates the 6-digit codes directly on your device, mathematically, using a shared secret setup, once between the app and your account. The code is created right there on your phone itself and changes automatically every 30 seconds. Here is why this completely defeats the attacks we just discussed. There is no text message sent over the network, so there is nothing for an SS7 attacker to intercept. The code is tied to the app on your specific device, not to your phone number, so a SIM swap gives the criminal your number, but not your codes. The code never travels anywhere, so it cannot be captured in transit. In one simple change, switching from text message codes to an authenticator app, you neutralize SIM swapping, SS7 interception, and the network level theft of your codes, because you have removed the very thing all those attacks rely on, which is a code traveling across the phone network. This is genuinely not a minor or optional tweak. It is the entire difference between a second factor that can be stolen remotely from across the world and one that essentially cannot be touched. And it is available to you completely for free in just a few minutes. Let me make this genuinely practical, because the value is in actually doing it, not just understanding it. The first step is to get an authenticator app. There are several genuinely free and reputable ones available, including well-regarded options from major technology companies. And honestly, any well-known trusted authenticator app will work perfectly fine for this. Apple also builds this exact capability directly into iOS itself, in the form of verification codes that your iPhone can generate and securely store right in your password settings. So for many of your accounts, you may not even need a separate dedicated app at all. The second step is to go to your most important accounts in order of priority and switch their two-factor method from text message to the authenticator app. Start with your primary email because it is the master key that can reset every other account, then move to your banking and financial apps, then any payment or cryptocurrency services, then important things like your social media and shopping accounts. For each one, go into the account's security settings, find the two-factor or two-step verification section, and look for the option to add an authenticator app, sometimes listed as an authenticator app, an authentication app, or a TOTP option. The setup usually involves simply scanning a QR code with your authenticator app one single time, and after that, the app quietly generates that specific account's codes forever, all on its own. The third and important step, where the account allows it, is to remove the text message option as a backup once your authenticator app is working, because leaving SMS as a fallback keeps that weak door open for attackers to exploit. Not every account lets you remove it, but turn it off wherever you can. Even better still, wherever your accounts and your bank actually support them, use passkeys, the newest and most secure login method available today, which replaces both passwords and codes entirely with a secure cryptographic key tied directly to your device and your biometrics. Alongside switching away from text message codes, there is one more powerful step that directly blocks the most common attack, the SIM swap, and it is worth doing today. You can add a layer of protection to your mobile carrier account itself. Contact your mobile carrier by phone or through their app, and ask them to add a port-out PIN, sometimes called a number lock, a port freeze, or SIM protection to your account. This is a separate secret passcode that must be provided before your phone number can ever be transferred to another SIM or carrier. With this protection in place, even a highly skilled scammer who calls your carrier pretending to be you simply cannot move your number anywhere, because they will not have that secret PIN. This single, simple step stops a SIM swap attack completely cold in its tracks. And most major carriers now offer this protection entirely for free. It usually takes just one quick phone call or a few simple taps inside your carrier's own app to set up. Between switching your codes to an authenticator app and locking your phone number against transfer, you have closed the two widest doors that attackers use to reach your accounts. And there is one more habit that underpins all of this, which is protecting the personal information that criminals use to pull off a SIM swap in the first place, since they often rely on details like your full name, address, and date of birth to impersonate you to your carrier, reducing how much of your information is floating around publicly on data broker sites and in oversharing online makes you a harder target for the social engineering that these attacks depend on. And finally, strong, unique passwords on every single account, ideally generated and stored in a dedicated password manager, complete the protective picture. Now let me address the iPhone-specific side honestly, because while the OTP weakness is not an iOS flaw, keeping your iPhone itself secure matters and ties directly into this. The single most important iPhone security habit is to keep it updated. Apple regularly releases iOS updates that patch real security vulnerabilities, and while these are usually not OTP stealing hacks, they do fix genuine flaws. For instance, recent iOS updates have patched issues like an app potentially being able to access sensitive payment tokens, a local attacker potentially gaining access to your keychain items where passwords are stored, and an attacker in a privileged network position potentially intercepting network traffic. These are exactly the kinds of real flaws that timely updates close off, which is precisely why running the latest available iOS version genuinely matters a great deal for protecting your most sensitive data. There is also a real and current reminder that old, unpatched iPhones are the actual danger. Security agencies have publicly flagged that older iOS vulnerabilities are still being actively used in real attacks today through reusable exploit kits, specifically targeting older devices that have simply not been kept updated. So if you or a family member happens to be using an old iPhone that no longer receives security updates, that is a genuine and real risk worth addressing soon by either updating or retiring the device entirely. For most ordinary people, the practical day-to-day iPhone security checklist is refreshingly straightforward and easy to follow. Keep iOS updated, enable automatic updates so you never fall behind, use a strong device passcode and Face ID, and for anyone at genuinely higher risk, iOS includes a powerful feature called lockdown mode that dramatically reduces the attack surface. None of these steps replace the core OTP fix, but together they form the strong, secure foundation on which your Authenticator app and all your protected accounts comfortably sit. Let me bring this all together into a clear and honest summary, because the goal was never to frighten you about your iPhone, it was to fix a real and common weakness and hand you control. Here is the truth. The mistake that genuinely puts your bank codes at risk is not a secret iOS hack or a virus on your phone. It is the ordinary, widespread reliance on text messages to receive your one-time passcodes. Because those codes travel over the phone network, criminals can intercept them through SIM swap attacks that hijack your number, through network-level SS7 interception, or by phishing you into handing them over. And once they have your code and your already stolen password, your account is open. That is the real, honest basis for the warning. But the fix is simple, free, and entirely in your hands, and it is not specific to any phone. First, switch your two-factor authentication from text message codes to an Authenticator app, or to passkeys where available, starting with your email, then your banking and financial accounts, and remove the SMS fallback wherever you can. This one single change defeats SIM swapping, SS7 network interception, and code theft in transit all at the same time, because there is simply no longer any code crossing the phone network for anyone to steal. Second, call your carrier and add a port-out PIN to lock your phone number against transfer. Third, protect the personal data that fuels these attacks. Keep your iPhone updated with the latest iOS, since updates patch real flaws and old unpatched devices are the genuine risk. Do those things, and the entire category of stolen OTP attacks simply stops working against you. The real weakness here was never your iPhone at all. It was always the simple text message itself. So pause this video right now, open up your bank app's security settings, and switch off those vulnerable text message codes immediately before you do anything else at all today.